Spring travel is leading into summer woes, church services starting back up, and the return of restaurants. Joe Chiodo from KCTV5 News this morning is working from home and joining us now with a look at what's making news today. Let's talk passenger travel. Joe, it's way down, right?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Way down. Way down, really. Nobody is traveling right now. KCI has 55% less travel compared to what they were doing before the virus hit. So that is so much money when you think about it, not just with people traveling into KCI, but then all of the airlines combined. I mean, we're talking likely billions of dollars here. The coronavirus canceled a lot of spring break plans, which really just boosts the airline industry this time of the year. And this also is impacting the summer travel season. Airlines are trying to make up for lost revenue by helping people, and they want them to feel safe to fly again. So this is interesting. What we have for you right now are designs from an Italian firm of what these new planes could look like. Take a second and look at your screen right here. Pretty weird to think about, but this could be the future of travel. I mean, it's not going to happen tomorrow, but maybe, you know, in the next few years or maybe even months for some airlines. But there would be a divider between passengers. You would sit kind of crisscross, and another design shows seats facing opposite directions. Travelers say even with more precautions, they would not feel comfortable right away getting on a plane for a lot of them. I mean, some people are going to have to for their work bill, but I do think this will have a long-lasting impact on travel, at least for the next few months, of course, and then maybe even the next couple years.
Yeah, I'm not sure about my kids riding in those seats that partially face each other. We're going to have to separate them with the parent in the middle. So, but yeah.
That would be bad.
Exactly. We just had Southwest cancel one of their flights on our summer travel plans, so we're kind of back to square one on that. So it'll be interesting to see here in the next few months how the airlines start to rebound. Go ahead.
And my thing is, my wife and I share an iPad to watch TV on the plane. So if we can't sit next to each other, what do we do? And then there's a fight, and then the person in between us has to hear us fight. It'd be bad.
It would be bad. That's right. Well, let's shift over to about a half hour west of town over in Lawrence, Kansas. Some of these churches that were at the center of this debate against the governor were holding services again this weekend.
Yeah, so Heritage Baptist Church held services once again this weekend, this time returning to their parking lot, so they didn't enter the church doors. Senior Pastor Scott Hanks says that they are doing what they have to do to comply with the governor's orders and still worship.
The governor's order basically says that we can't be in a confined and enclosed space, so we went ahead and moved the services to the outdoors. The rows are 6 feet apart, and then the only ones that can sit together are families, those who are related, and then everybody else needs to be within 6 feet from each other.
All right, so we've been talking about this both on our morning show and here on Better Kansas City, but this has been quite the controversy. The governor recently made a decision to settle a lawsuit with two churches that sued over their right to assemble. The two churches behind that lawsuit are now allowed to congregate and hold services, but they have to practice social distancing. Now, those churches and the pastor you just heard from say that the Governor Laura Kelly, did that to save face, to stay out of the courtroom, because they believe that this is unconstitutional. In legal documents regarding this whole deal, it is noted that Governor Kelly does not expect to extend the state stay-at-home order past May 3rd, so just one more week of this. But it's been quite the controversy, as we know, and it's really caused a lot of concern, especially with Easter falling during the midst of this pandemic. So, it appears that as long as you're social distancing, these churches can move forward.
Well, with that May the 3rd date looming here on Saturday, a lot of people are going to be wondering when the return of restaurants are going to be, especially with that stay-at-home date being, again, rescinded after May the 3rd. What does that look like here in Kansas City? Have you heard any plans for that yet?
So we have no real public plan, but you really can assume that it is going to look a lot like what the rest of the country is doing. Social distancing will have to continue. There is no doubt about that. But it also could mean a limit on capacity as a result of that, because if you have to have the tables spread out further and further apart, then you're likely going to have less people in your restaurant. You also might have a maximum capacity set on the amount that is allowed to be in your party, say maybe 6 or so. We can tell you that we know that in Texas, Texas, there was some restaurants that opened up this past weekend, and they did exactly that. So they set a capacity on the amount of people allowed at their party, and they also only allowed them to dine on the outdoor patios. They didn't even allow them to enter the restaurant building. So that might be like phase one of this whole ordeal. But again, it's to be determined what it will look like here in Kansas City, though we do know that there will be social distancing.
All right, well, we hope that everybody's paying attention to what's happening around the country so we can implement those best practices here. Joe, thank you for your time this morning, sir. We will talk to you again here real soon. And happy Monday to you, by the way.
Sounds good. Yes, happy Monday to you guys, too. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Belinda.